All right, this is show number 74, recorded on February 26, 2013. And tonight we're going to do a roundtable discussion. We'll talk a little bit about our what we were going to have tonight, our guest, and how these things happen from time to time. But tonight we're going to do a roundtable. I've invited Sess White onto the show. Sess, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, enjoying life, loving the fact that our snow has dried up here in the Midwest.
Very good. Yeah, we haven't got any here this year, so it's been a pretty mild winter for us. Tim, welcome back. How are you doing tonight?
Very good, very good. My 18 inches of snow is pretty much gone. I can't complain.
All right.
2 weeks later, you barely would even know it.
Very good. All right, so tonight we're going to do something a little bit different, where we're going to just do roundtable discussion. I don't know if you guys, I didn't see you put anything in the show notes, so I don't know what you have lined up. But before we get into that, I want to talk to, we have the Drobo, and since everybody's been hanging out for so long, go ahead and give the Drobo keyword right off the bat, so you don't have to wait till late in the show. If you have not done the Drobo giveaway yet, if you're not signed up for the Drobo giveaway, it runs through, I'm looking it up now. I think Jim was out there.
Breaking in and out now.
We're breaking in and out?
Yeah, you were breaking in and out on me a couple times. Do you hear that, Sess?
No, I could still hear him fine.
Yeah, I think it's you, Tim. I think you're.
Then it's me.
Something's going on with you. Anyway, look, I've got the Drobo thing going on here. The page pulled up, and if you go to jpeg2RAW, then go to giveaway, then you'll see the link for the Drobo giveaway. And where in the world did we put the end date? Do you remember what the end date was on this?
March 4th.
Why didn't I put that at the very top? So it started on the 17th. You got last week's keyword that we gave away during the show, and Jim Collison out there says March 4th. So yes, March 4th. So go out to our website, go to go to jpeg2RAW.com, go to the giveaway link, and then that will bring you to the Drobo giveaway. If you don't know what a Drobo is basically external storage that is protected from single drive hard drive failure. It's a great way. It's a great second copy. I wouldn't call it your only backup, but it's a great second copy. Jim Collison from the Average Guy podcast was graceful enough to include us in the giveaway, that he was able to get that. And the other thing that's great for photographers, is the storage can grow with you. So let's say you can't afford to fill it with three terabyte drives right now. You can put whatever drives you have in there. If you only have 2, you can put 2 of them in there. And then as you grow, you can put additional hard drives in there and have it grow with you up to quite a bit of storage. And tonight's keyword, and there's 2 ways you can enter. One is to enter the keyword during the show, from the show. Looks like I can't even show you what that is because I've already entered. The keyword from the show, and the keyword for this show is just jpeg2RAW. Just enter jpeg2RAW in that. So you can enter that way, or you share the post that's on our Facebook page. You go to our Facebook page, and I'll show that here in a second. You go to the Facebook page. Why can't I go there? You go to Facebook page, and there's a Drobo giveaway link there. And if you go to that giveaway, you can barely see it here in chat. But if you go to that and share it, that's another way you can enter the giveaway. So March 4th is the giveaway, and make sure you entered. There's nothing to lose here. Make sure you enter before March 4th, so you have a chance to win this. You can also listen to Jim's show this Thursday, and Jim can talk about it out in chat if he wants, on what time that is. I think it's 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. The Average Guy podcast. You can go and listen to that, and he'll give you another keyword so you can enter that way too. So if you listen to last week's show and looking for the keyword from last week, it's toward the second half of the show where you would get that the keyword.
But just listen to the whole show.
Just listen to the whole show, because I'm not telling you exactly where in the second half it is, but it's in the second half of the show. And that was a great show, with Nicole Young. Tonight was supposed to be our first boudoir gentleman. We're supposed to have the boudoir lady on tonight. And unfortunately, one of the things that happens is we try and get these popular, photographers, these photographers who are really growing their business. And Jennifer is like that. She is growing her business. She's getting crazy exposure. And what comes with that is, they get sidetracked with other things they're doing. So we'll have to reschedule hopefully for her in the future. But we've got a good show, I think, for tonight. We're going to talk about some things that are coming up in the Facebook group and go over some different things like that. I was going to show you guys something, but now I don't have it. And that is all the different places where the show's listening to. It is if you ever look at that, if I ever showed you that, Tim, it is crazy how many different places. Gina, who's in the chat right now, is from Europe, but we have people from Afghanistan listening.
Really?
Yes. I imagine they're service members, but you never know. It could be Taliban for all I know. Apparently we're popular with the Taliban.
No, I think you're probably right. It's probably service members.
Yeah, it's probably
glad
service
to have
members.
them on board.
Yeah. Okay, so this month our contest out in the Facebook group is emotion. And we've got a lot of good entries out there in the emotion category. You still have 2 more days to enter. And if you haven't entered yet, make sure you enter. We're going to also give the winner a copy of Nicole Young's food book, whatever one. I don't remember which one that is, but she did one book on food. We talked about it last week, and we're going to give the winner that one. We're also going to pretty soon, all the admins, which is Gina Perry out there in chat, Seth White, Tim, and I. We all met last night, and we're going to try and also do a editing competition. May not be the same type of reward where you get your photo up on the cover or not. We're not quite sure yet, but I think that the group would do good to share in their editing skills and go over the editing of a photo. Seth is going to give us a photo to edit. We can all play with that and then learn from each other on the editing side.
Yeah, I should pull that up before I forget. I think the video is cropped in chat. I don't know if you do that or what.
The video, you mean?
Unless you just don't want me. I mean.
No, see, now you got a delay. Yeah, there's a delay in the chat. You got to look at the chat now. Now you'll see yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I am.
I replaced the other guy.
I am manually switching it right now.
Okay.
I know he just doesn't. He just wants to be up there himself.
I'm trying something new. That has nothing to do with the audio problem earlier, though. Okay, so we're going to have a roundtable discussion tonight, and this is something that a lot of photography shows, a lot of shows, podcasts do, is they have roundtable discussions. We generally have more guest than non-guest, and that's going to stay the way of the show. We're going to generally have guests, but not every show. Every once in a while we want to step back and have a discussion. And one of the things, our Facebook group brings up a lot of good points, a lot of good talking points that we can talk about. And one of them I want to talk about, it was from Jackie. I don't know if she's out there now, but from Jackie, where someone told her, I'm going to try and get the quote. And I wrote down the quote actually, so I don't have to look it up. Someone told her,
a monkey can take a picture. It's not that hard.
Yeah, so I want us to go maybe round the room here and talk about that statement. A monkey can do this. It's not that hard. I mean, that for someone who is, who's, you can be in an emotional state. So, you're there at this emotional state, and I'm working with the video here to try and get something ready, so I don't have Seth fussing at me.
Okay.
There we go. So now we should be switching back and forth. So someone tells you that you're in an emotional state. You're trying very hard to take photos. You're trying to improve your skill, and someone doesn't realize how hurtful that is. And I don't have any magic words for Jackie, but I think people who are not into photography have no idea what it takes to take a good photo. You know, back whenever I was shooting sports, I had and I still do. You can probably see it back there. I had a 300 millimeter 2.8 lens, and I had my camera, and I'm shooting on a monopod. So I'm getting, you know, decent shots, and I'm trying to isolate the players and get action shots and doing all this kind of stuff. And I was shooting for a company. You know, they paid me. All I had to do was shoot and hand over the images. They paid me for that. And, you know, it was a lot of trouble for them to sell images, because even though our images were very good, the parents were taking photos with their iPhones or Android phones or whatever it was at the time, or the little point and shoots. And they would say, look at that, I got a picture of my kid. And you go and look at it, and you can barely see which one's the kid, because there's a picture of the entire field. Yeah. Like, your kid is, oh, I see the back of your kid behind that other kid. And but
he's that blur, can't you tell?
Yeah, and it's the blur. But to them, to a lot of them, to some people, not everybody, so I'm not trying to generalize, but not to some people, that was good enough. They see their kid in it, and it doesn't matter the quality. They do not see the quality difference, or the quality difference is not great enough where, why would I pay for your photo when I can get the photo I just took for free? And I think
the question is how many people actually print the pictures as well then.
True.
I think a vast majority of digital pictures do not get printed.
So, so, you know, and I'll let you guys say your piece here in a second. My advice to Jackie is to, as best you can, this is easier for me to say than it is for you to do, the best you can, to just try and ignore that comment, because that person does not understand. And if you were to hand them the camera and say, all right, you try it, they will take a picture. In their mind, they may think what they just took is just about as good as what you take, even though to anybody who knows anything about photography, they would see a huge difference. You know, fighting that battle is just, you're not going to win.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I mean, I know I take pictures, and I'm very critical of my pictures. I think my pictures stink half the time, and other people say, oh, your pictures are great, or they'll ask me to take pictures for them all the time. And then you look at other people's pictures, and a lot of times it's really just a snapshot. And like you're saying, it's a picture from far away. It's blurry. I watch when people take pictures, or if I give somebody my camera to take a picture, I'm like, don't stab at the camera when you take a picture. You'll see people, they'll have their finger an inch over the shutter, and then they'll stab at it to take the picture. The whole camera shakes. I'm like, just avoid doing that. Just place your finger on that and press down slightly on it, and that will make your pictures 10 times better right off the bat. And a lot of people just don't look at what they're doing when they take pictures, I think, and think that just taking a picture is good enough. And for some people, that probably is good enough. For me, it's not. I think my pictures stink half the time.
Yeah, what you said about the shutter is that's what they tell us in military, you know, training with our gun. You know, don't pull the trigger, squeeze the trigger.
Squeeze the trigger, right?
Yeah, but anyway, what you said about being good enough, that was actually I was going to talk about that point. It's what we see in photos is, you know, what we strive to achieve. I mean, they might not even notice the fact that it's isolated, that the background is so much more blurry than the actual subject. And good enough is just like you said, good enough. And also just kind of what do they intend to do with it? You had alluded to if they're going to print or not. You know, if they just want it to be, you know, an inch on Facebook or less,
it's good enough for people. Then you're right.
But yeah, it's that eye thing. It's easy to see. For us, it's easy to see, oh, well, you know, that's your finger in that top corner, right? Like, you know, that's what that was.
Well, you know, I have even had people tell me, why is everything blurry in the background? You know, in their mind.
So to them, that was something wrong.
Yeah, in their mind, it was wrong that the background was blurry, that everything should be in focus. You know, you're taking a picture, you've isolated the soccer player. It actually is a great picture. You got them kicking the ball. And, and in their mind, yeah, it's okay, but why is the background so blurry? So,
or they might even not even recognize if you maybe if you shoot fast, you stop motion, and you know, they might not notice that it's actually stopped motion. I mean, if they took the picture on their phone, it would automatically be something blurry, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Tim, I don't know. I don't want to cut you off because I went to Sess, but not to you. So, what do you want to add?
No, I think I said my piece on it. That's I went before Sess actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Gina said, is it our job to educate the people? I think to an extent it kind of is, just to give ourselves value in what we do.
I think it is a real uphill battle because so while we're on that subject, we can take it one step further. Is I don't know if Jackie's doing this professionally or she's doing it as a hobby or what she's doing, but if you are someone who's doing this professionally, that is the type of people you're dealing with that you're trying to sell images to. So when we were doing this for soccer, we were battling parents who can get in their mind, they can get a good enough shot with their point and shoot or with their phone. Why would I pay for you to take photos? And then, hey, we're going to sell a 4x6 for $5. They're thinking I can go down to Walmart and print that thing for 27 cents. Why would I pay you $5
right
for that? They don't understand.
And that even comes to if you're doing portraits or something like that, and someone's saying, well, why does your print cost this much when I can go to wherever and get it for 47 cents? And then you have to explain to them quality difference and stuff like that. So again, to Gina's point, it's to a certain extent our job to educate the folks.
Yeah. And I think we can try. I think it's going to be difficult to.
Sometimes you just can't, though.
No, you're not going to be able to move some people.
Some people, yeah, I agree.
So I think you just do the best you can. If you're doing this professionally, I think some customers you're just not going to win over. If you look at Kathleen, I'm sure there are people that have looked at her work and looked at her prices, and Scott Green who have had, and any professional we've had on the show who've looked at the prices and said, I'm not going to pay that. And if that's the case,
they're not the customer anyway.
They're not the customer, and you're right. Yeah, good point, Sess. You just need to move on. Hopefully, you find enough people who are willing to pay, because I guess if no one's willing to pay, you got a problem. But you just hope that you can find somebody, find people who are willing to pay.
Yeah. Did you guys read my comment on that, the monkey thing?
No, where'd you put a comment?
Well, they said a monkey can press a button. It's not that hard. I said that when someone says that to you, then you tell that person that I hope that they find this magical monkey, and that when they do, they fling poo at you. Then take a picture. Then take a picture.
Yes, that is good. And I guess technically, whoever told Jackie that is correct. A monkey probably could push the shutter button.
Absolutely. I mean,
it's not a matter of can someone physically push the button.
It's what's the quality of the photo?
Yes.
What's the end product? What's the deliverable?
Yeah. Okay. That was my first point. Who wants to go next? Sess, Tim?
I could go next.
Okay.
Mine's it's way different. I just kind of wanted to get your idea, you guys' feel of what you guys think of all these compact cameras that they're throwing lenses on.
Like the Micro Four Thirds.
The Micro Four, yeah, they're kind of going away from. Not going away. They're just creating kind of this new little thing that's kind of a combination of the DSLR as we know it and the compact camera. Are they trying to reach a prosumer market? Or are they trying to just get more people to? I don't know.
I'm not sure what the benefit of it is. I mean, if I was going to carry a smaller camera, I got my Android already. I got the Galaxy S3, which has got a camera that, if I need to take a shot, it's great. If I want to take real photographs, I'm going to take my SLR. So do I really want to have something that's in between that really doesn't fit in my pocket anyway?
Yeah.
So if it's going to be to that point, I may as well just carry my current camera. And then to top it off, now I'd have to change or get all new lenses again, even though I think I can get an adapter. I mean, I do hear and I do read the quality is just as good. Matter of fact, I think I use a Sony, and the line that they have, it uses the same sensor that my camera uses. So that's obviously pretty good, that what they're putting in there. But I don't. For me, I don't see the benefit of it. I really don't. Yeah,
that's what they say for the EOS, the new M that they put out. It's that kind of thing too. That it's got the Digic 5 sensor that the what T3 T4 I have. I think the 5D Mark III might have a Digix 6 in it. But anyways, for me it's just the form factor. I mean, I want outside controls. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to dig into a menu to find something that should be, quick fix.
I have the Nikon N1 pulled up, or S1 actually.
Mm-hmm. I see
Nikon
it. Yeah.
1 S1, which is one of those kind of cameras. You're right, Seth.
Yep,
I think
when
they first started off, I think they were called 4/3, and Olympus was the one who I think was one of the ones pushing that. And I pretty much wrote it off because anything Olympus is pushing is dead. And I say that as a former Olympus fan. I was an Olympus fan. One of my first digital cameras I really loved was Olympus. So I feel like I can criticize them. But you're right. More and more companies. You got Canon, you got Nikon, you got Sony. They're all pushing this. Sigma, who's kind of fallen back. You don't hear as much about them as you used to.
Yeah,
but what gets me is they're not that much cheaper.
They're not, and I want my outside knobs for that price. Why not just get the thing that it's trying to be anyway?
Right.
It's really
that's my thought.
Yeah, it's point and shoot size with removable lenses, and so for me personally, I can see somebody wanting this. But for me personally, I'm kind of like you, Seth, is that. I got my SLR. That's what I want. I don't want to have to buy a whole nother set of lenses to go along with a little camera like this.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be somewhere where I just can't use my SLR, let's say I'm traveling. I really can't think of a good place where I won't bring my SLR because I'll bring it just about everybody. But let's say there's a place I'm not going to have my SLR. Then I'm just going to use my phone.
Exactly.
I'm not looking to take, publishable images everywhere I go. If I'm on a vacation with the family, some of those images with my phone are going to be good enough. If not, the SLR. But maybe if you're someone who either doesn't mind spending the money, or you don't have an SLR, and you want to keep something compact.
I like what Danielle just wrote.
What?
That's what the monkeys would use.
Oh my goodness.
But I mean, you can always go out there and I'll just use my iPad and take pictures with this.
Okay.
On my iPad.
Whoa.
You saw my post.
You're that guy in the picture, huh?
Yeah. God, no, never.
You saw my post in a group about that, right?
Yeah,
Tim?
about a couple of weeks ago.
Don't be that person.
I've seen people do that. I see people do it.
Okay, I will say I do this on a weekly basis, and this is why. I'm in class. I decided for myself to go back to school, so I'm a college student and a dad and a business running guy and a military member and a staffed church. Anyways, I do a lot. So anyways, when I take notes at school, I use Evernote. I type it up on my iPad, and whenever I'm too lazy to do that, take a snap picture of the slide. And it's there. It's just there for convenience, but it's not there for photography's sake. I do have one thing that I wanted to go back to, but I'll let you guys talk about that.
Well, I mean, you think about it. What is it? A 2-megapixel camera in the back of an iPad? I mean, people think they're taking good pictures with it. It blows my mind.
Well, I have seen people at swim events holding up their iPad, taking their videos.
Yeah. I got it. I got the picture. I got it. Click.
No. Yeah. So here's what's happening is they're holding it up, and everybody behind them is looking at
and they can't
the
see
image. And no, they're watching the image on the iPad, and I'm going, you guys realize this is happening for real right in front of us. You can just watch
in front of you.
You can just watch this.
It's not Memorex. It's live.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So photo Leslie. It's about to go away. So it said I wouldn't mind having a pocket-sized camera, in my purse that I didn't have shutter lag, but produce good enlargement. But see, the thing about this is that with these cameras, they're not pocket-sized cameras.
They're not. That's my point. Right. That's my point.
So it just doesn't have the feel. It feels like a cell phone, but you got this ginormous lens on it.
Yeah, so it looks small in the picture. How big is it?
They do have some small. I think they call them even pancake lenses, which are maybe a half-inch thick. So I mean, you do have it, but normally they're showing you the lens. It's probably about 2 inches thick on there, so you're not benefiting. Maybe my wife can carry it in her pocketbook, but I'm not going to put it in my jeans pocket where I can carry a smaller camera. I do have, or I think I still have somewhere my wife's old camera. She had like a little point and shoot, which, you know what, when she was going to my son's activities in the afternoon at the park, that was great for her to carry versus carrying my camera, because she was overwhelmed by my camera. That's not for everybody to use an SLR unless you're practicing with it all the time. So for her, she was happy with it. Now she uses her phone.
Okay.
So I can definitely, there's obviously a market for this stuff. More and more people are selling. They're selling it more. I think these are getting out there more. It's not dying off. So there's obviously a market for these cameras, and it's not necessarily for me, but I could see somebody wanting to use that, where okay, I don't want to go all in with the SLR, or maybe you do, and you just want to have a light travel camera. I remember I've listened to somebody who travels a lot, and they say, hey, sometimes when I don't want to bring along the big SLR. For me, I do want to bring along the big SLR.
So do I.
But
yeah, but you know what? I'll say I have noticed a change. You go back probably 5 years ago, you didn't see a lot of people with SLRs, especially when it was a film SLR. They had probably more than likely a point and shoot. Now you do see a lot more people have an SLR since it's gone digital, and it is easier to use.
Yeah.
They may not have a high-end SLR, but they do have an SLR. So now they've already stepped up to that. I can't, to see one of these, I don't know what they call them, the Micro Four Thirds or whatever. I don't know if I've really ever seen one out in the street, somebody using one. Have you seen, I mean,
no,
do you see him?
I've not seen one in real life, but I think
well,
right,
we're saying
exactly.
like the crocodile hunter. Have you seen one in real life?
when I say real life, I mean somebody using
it out in the field.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't seen one.
You see that Nikon? It's an S1. Oh, it's in its element right now.
But so I guess one of the other questions. So the camera in the S1 that we're just looking at is about $500. What are the lenses going for that?
They're comparable to an SLR lens. They're a little bit less because they are smaller, but not a heck of a lot. I mean, I was just in B&H before. Let me see if I can.
Well, I think the S1 is not Nikon's first version of that. I think they've made
no. They had a J1, and then they had
an N1. I thought at one point.
Really? Huh. I don't know. All that I know was that I tolerated Ashton Kutcher until he became that guy, and then once Nikon picked him up, he just became that guy, and I could no longer tolerate any Ashton. I almost don't want him to be. I almost don't want him to be Steve Jobs, but I'm like, I just want to see the movie.
He won't make a good Steve Jobs.
Maybe I can look past.
All right, so I don't know where
the mirrorless cameras. I guess.
Yeah, mirrorless now.
I don't know where I got the N1 because I don't see it now. So forget that.
So
yeah. All right, so let's see mirrorless lenses. You got in here 150, 150, 200, 150 for a 30 millimeter, 350 for a 20 millimeter, 1.7.
Wow. I mean, that's
25.
More than
yeah, I mean that's
more than a Canon Nifty 50. You're 51.8.
And looking here, they range from $100 all the way up to $3,000 for a lens. Wow.
My goodness.
Yeah, I think
this is a couple of lenses.
And that's one of the other reasons why it's not for me. And again, it could be for other people. It's not for me, is because if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I want to spend it on lenses from SLR.
Exactly.
So now, if I had unlimited funds,
then
you'd have all kinds of toys. We know that for a fact.
I would have all kind of toys.
I mean, they got a Sony 24 1.8 for $1,100. I mean, you may as well buy an SLR.
All right.
And so someone said that they had an Olympus pen, and yeah, the Olympus pens got a lot of great press. But then again, where's Olympus right now? So
yeah. So my experience with Olympus, I got back when I was first getting into photography, I got what they called the Uzi. It was
Uzi.
The Ollie 2100 UZ. It had a long barrel lens. It was like a 20 times zoom or something like that. It was a great camera. It was a point and shoot, but it was a great camera. And I loved that thing. And I really was hooked on Olympus at the time. And
okay.
Then I went to the E10, the Olympus E10.
Okay.
I hated that camera. It looked similar to an SLR, but it wasn't removable. The maximum shutter speed was 1/640th of a second. I've never seen anybody with a sub 1,000 shutter speed. Like, what do you?
Film cameras were 1,000. Film cameras were 1,000 and more. Mine is 1,000.
Yeah. So, and then they were so slow to update and come out with new stuff. They just can't compete with the other people. So I think Canon and Nikon are the top two. Sony is coming on strong. Olympus and Sigma are kind of falling back.
Sony, I will continually give Sony their credit. I mean, they're doing a fantastic job of meeting different niche markets and just picking up. I mean, I think that they're really doing great as far as being that third.
Well, I think the best thing they did was buy out Minolta back several years ago. That was the best thing they ever did, and they actually are doing more with it than Minolta did, because Minolta started falling. I thought Minolta always had good equipment, and they were always kind of up in front, leading the pack in the technology, but they just never got a good grip on it. And Sony's marketing, I think, has really helped them. And like I said, I mean, if Minolta didn't go digital back in, I think, 05 is when I bought the camera, I probably would have made a switch. And I was actually looking into Canon and Nikon at the time. And then I probably emailed Minolta, and they said a camera was coming out in the next few months. So I said, all right, you know what? I have several $1,000s in lenses. I'm not going to switch it.
that's how they get you. That's why they have those cheap, like, nifty 50s for your Canon, your $100 lens. Yeah. But yeah, okay.
So next question for you guys, or Tim, did you have a?
Oh yeah, I'm looking to buy a new lens. I have on my Sony, I got a 1650 2.8, and the next lens I want to get is probably a 70-200, the 2.8. And I tried it out the other day. The thing weighs 3 pounds.
Which lens is this again?
It's the 70-200 f2.8.
You got to get that's a sweet lens though.
It's $2,000.
That's a staple lens. There's 3 staple lenses. Well, Nikon side, the Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity.
What is it? The 14-24, the 24-70, and the 70-200. Yeah, those are the. I don't know. I can't speak for Canon. Maybe Seth can speak for Canon. Do they have? Is that? What do y'all have? Do y'all have a Holy Trinity?
Yeah, let me see. I don't think that we have that. Let me see. There's the 2470 Tamra. See, I look at the third-party stuff. I try not to really lean too much into the Canon branded stuff because I know I can't afford it. So I'm probably the wrong Canon user to ask, and I hate to say that. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Well, they're asking me out in chat to say that again. Okay, the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity for Nikon is the 14-24. I think that's 2.8. The 24-70, which is 2.8 lens, and the 70-200, 2.8 lens. And you will be shocked at the prices of the 14-24 and the 24-70.
Yeah, they're all like $1,500 lenses each.
Oh, at least $1,500. They are more than likely they're over $2,000 each.
Oh,
wow.
Well, I mean, I have a 16-50, so I don't need the 14-24. The 16 really covers it, and it's a 2.8 lens. So that's my all-around lens that I use. Then I've been using. I have when I take sports photography, I got a 100-400, but it's it's probably a 4.5 to 5.6, and it's an older Minolta lens. It was a great lens for a while, but I'm starting to have some problems with the lens. So I said, you know what? I'd really like to get the 70-200, and I tried it. Now, do you use a monopod with that lens when you're using it then? Because it's a heavy lens. I was holding it in the store the other day with my camera. I was like, man, this is not. Yeah, all right. I need to.
I am a real man. I hold it.
Oh man! Oh,
you know what? I set myself up for that. I set myself up for that one.
You kind of walked into that one. I'm gonna actually share this here. Start a screen share if I can. So we have the 7200. I'm sorry. We have the 1635, 2470, and 7200. We don't have that that fine-tuned puzzle piece for the bottom, but 1635, and these are all 2.8.
16. So let's say that slowly for the Canon people. 16-35, 2.8.
Yeah.
24-70, 2.8. And 70-200, 2.8.
Yeah, and these are L lenses, and they're all $1 bajillion.
Yeah, and that's just what they consider the Holy Trinity. It doesn't necessarily mean that those are the only good lenses. Like the 85 on the Nikon, the 85-1.4 is fantastic. There is, I think it's the Sigma 85-1.4 is a really good lens alternative to the 85-1.4 for Nikon. It's probably I'm probably going to get that.
I like Sigma, but what I keep finding is that the ones that I want to buy, they're that they're the right price point, the right size that I want. They are crop sensor crop sensor lenses, and I'm not buying any more crop sensor lenses.
Yeah, if you ever want to go full frame, you should really consider not buying any more crop sensor lenses.
Yeah, well, I told myself that about 6 months ago, because I told myself I was going to make the move into a full frame, which I've yet to do because I got bills.
And the full frame, I mean, the full frame for the Sony is like $3,500. I'm like, you know what? Do I need to spend $3,500 for a camera? I'm not a professional photographer by any stretch.
Now, Gina Perry out in chat saying, "Don't be a glass noob." But Gina, I will say this, that that glass though.
Yes, I know where you're going.
What are you doing, Sess?
Who? What am I doing?
You're still screen sharing, buddy.
Oh, whoops! Why? Stop it. There we go. We're back.
Glass though can make a much bigger difference than the camera itself.
Absolutely,
I think,
and it lasts a lot longer.
The glass is going to last longer than it doesn't mean you have to buy the name brand, the Canon or Nikon. You could buy Sony or Sigma or Tamron. But I love it. What I will say is, if you're going to buy one of those, one of the third-party ones, is do your homework. You can, in most cases, Canon lenses are going to be good. Nikon lenses are going to be good. It's going to be the rare exception that you get something that's not good. My experience with the Tamron, I actually have Tamron, Tokina, and Sigma. I have some of each one of those. Is that you have to be much more careful with them. Not every lens they make is a great lens, and sometimes there's a big difference between their lens and the Canon or the Nikon version of that lens. When I first got my first 70-200, it was a Sigma lens, and I thought it was fairly good until a friend let me use his Nikon 70-200, and it was worlds different. The Nikon was far sharper, had better contrast and better colors, and it was noticeably different. Now the price was $850 versus $2,000, or maybe a little bit more than that, maybe like $1,000 versus $2,000. It was almost double. So you have to, in your own mind, decide, is the Nikon or the Canon one that much better?
Right.
And that's something that only you can decide. Is the price between the name brand and a third party good enough to make up for the price difference?
Well, I'll tell you, I was looking up on B&H before to see what they had. And there were 4 separate lenses in the 70-200 range, and all of them were the same price range, within like $100 of each other. I was like, well, then I may as well get the Sony version. Why would I switch and get the other type?
Yeah, you know what you want to do is that's the thing about photography is everything is expensive. Everything that's good is expensive. Photoshop's expensive. The camera's expensive. The lenses are expensive. So you just got to do this over time. Is buy as you can, buy good quality lenses and start building up lenses. It does mean you're probably going to be locked into a brand, Nikon or Canon. And was there? I lost the question out there. A.M. Robinson. She, I think it's a she. Sorry if I'm wrong. Has a Nikon, and currently I am thinking about getting a Canon just because I want one of both and see which one I like best to shoot primarily with. And so my comment with that would be is if you haven't invested much in lenses, then now is the time to test both of them and see which one you like.
Yeah, can you go somewhere and rent them? Yeah,
or do you have a friend or something like that? So if you don't have much in lenses, it's a good time to go out there and try a different one. I pick on Kathleen and Sess a lot about them shooting Canon and me shooting Nikon, but they're both, and Sony too. They're all great cameras. You can take good photos with any of them. Their operation's going to be a little bit different. The controls are going to be a little bit different. So it's good. It's good for you to try out another brand and decide which one feels better to me.
Yeah, and I got this 7000, and I didn't buy it. It's my work camera for one of my many hats, but I like it. In theory, I hate using. I don't hate using it. I really don't hate using it. I just things aren't. It just doesn't feel right, and I don't like the metering on it. The metering is different than from my Canon. That could be the metering mode. I'm gonna play with it more, But I just the more that I work with it, the more that I realize I can be competent and I can get the shot. I just don't prefer it. And so now that I've tried both, I can actually say, yeah, okay, well, I tried both and I like the Canon. But to your point, if you can try both, then try both. That's my word.
No argument there.
I agree.
And then go out and buy a Sony.
Because the metering, the focus, what gets sometimes a little confusing is maybe you're not trying out two of the same comparable models. So if you're not trying out a comparable Canon and Nikon model, maybe same generation, you may say, oh, this one takes a little bit better photos. So what you need to be thinking about more is not necessarily the quality of the photo, because there's so many factors that can come into that. That maybe you're not looking at the same generation, maybe you're not using the same lenses, maybe you just don't know it. It's I think also it's the feel of it. Which one do you like using better?
In your hands, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so A.M. Robinson, it's good for you to try out the other one before you get an investment in lenses. Once you decide on one, though, then I would start working on an investment in lenses rather than just keep collecting bodies. I like to keep the bodies for a while, just because I don't have unlimited funds like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
I keep the bodies for a while, and I just slowly build up on lenses. I did make the mistake of buying my landscape lens was a DX lens, and I so wish I wouldn't have done that, because now I can't use that I can't use it the way I want to on my full frame camera.
Right.
Well, the great thing about it is that when you go to Amazon using the jpeg2RAW link, so the jpeg2RAW gets credit, you can sell that back if you want.
And I didn't mention that yet, but I will mention it again before the show ends.
Well, I've just recently sold a couple of things on eBay, and things I wasn't using anymore. A couple of camera lenses, my old camera. It's like I haven't used it in almost a year and a half now. It's like, what am I holding on to it for?
Well, when I bought the 70-200 from Adorama, and by the way, we have an Adorama link too. You just go www.adorama.jpeg2RAW.com, and then we'll get a credit there. I bought my 70-200 used from Adorama, and I sold them my two Nikon D2Hs, my Sigma 70-200, my Sigma 100-300, that old crappy Olympus E10. I still had it.
You're hurting its feelings now.
Yeah,
he don't care.
I don't care. And I don't know what it was. That had almost like a cult following of people who love that camera. I don't care. I hated that camera. But I sold it through Adorama.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So you can,
cool.
there's a number of outlets, and what I did is I think I called them. I talked to them. I told them what I had. They sent me a UPS prepaid thing. Actually, I think they emailed it to me. I had to print it out. I printed that out, and it was more weight than they knew what I was sending. So they gave me enough weight to cover everything. I sent it up to them. Then they, called me back and said, all right, here's how much we'll give you for all that. And they say how much they think it's worth, and they give you 70% of that. It wasn't quite as much as I wanted. I'm sure I could have got a little bit better deal, but I just wanted to get rid of it and get the money.
Another place you could go, there's a place called Gazelle. I'm sure you've maybe you've heard of that. You've heard of it? Yeah. So I tried to sell something on it, and they were going to give me like $2. I was like, really? I could peddle this on the street at a lemonade stand and get more than that.
Yeah, really.
So, it's just. Hey, I had a quick question. Bottom end of your Nikon Holy Trinity is a what lens? What size? What range is that?
14 to 24.
Yeah. See, yeah, we just don't really have that range, and we got the 24-70, but we don't go quite that wide. So yeah. Okay. I was wondering.
Danielle was talking out in chat a minute ago about how I think it was you, Danielle, who was saying that the 70-200 you tried that with shooting cheerleading, and the 70-200 is can't be used in every situation because sometimes it shoots too tight. When you shoot, I shot cheerleaders before, and I needed something a little bit wider, so the 70-200 is not always the best choice. It's going to be a little bit too tight. The other thing when I went to full frame from crop is if you're a sports shooter, or maybe like a wildlife shooter too, is it's not the best thing. You do lose some of that reach. It is not true zoom, but basically it's packing all your pixels into a smaller area. So it's almost like a fake zoom, per se. I know this is a widely debated topic, but it's packing all those pixels into a smaller area, and also the more of the sweet spot of the lens too. The outside edges of a lens are the weakest part of a lens. So in a crop sensor, it's cropping it down into the sweeter spot of the lens. So when I was shooting swimming, I could go 4 lanes in from the side and still get a good tight shot on my crop sensor lens. Now going to lane 3 is a stretch with that same lens. So lane 4 is too wide for what I want to shoot with that. So it's been a downside for me. Now the upside is the ISO on a full frame camera is just worlds better.
Yeah,
I'm shooting at ISO 12,800 on my 7200, my D700, where my D2X would have struggled at 800, ISO 800.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't believe that I'm. Never mind.
You're still crop sensor?
Well, no, it's not that. I was actually just kind of just really happy that I'm able to get some of the jobs that I got, like when I shot for this last magazine. Well, we're in the concert at Winter Jam, and I'm shooting at 1600, just sweating. Well, I'm not sweating bullets because they're coming out. It's just I don't I just don't want to have to push that high on my camera. But knowing the camera that I want to get, I wouldn't have had that.
Yeah.
So it's this constant. I don't know.
Well, I know we didn't want to get off on the subject, but while we're talking about it, the beauty, what it has done for me is the fact that now that I'm shooting with a camera that can go into ISO 6400 or maybe even a little higher and have controllable noise. What it means for me is that I set ISO to auto, and I am saying I want the shutter speed of this, I want the aperture of this, and now move the shutter speed around. I mean the ISO around as needed to make it exposed correctly. And I know if Kathleen was here or Scott Green, they would say, there you go, you're in auto mode. Well, when you're shooting action shots and they're moving from one end of the gym to the other, and the light will change by 2, 3, 4 stops during that action, you can't be shooting full manual. You have to have something.
Right, I agree.
You have to have something in there that's set into auto, but I can set it the ISO to auto.
Well, okay. I mean, it was so a couple nights ago. I mean, at the concert, yeah, the lights are changing relatively fast, but I'm just so used to where my ISO button is that I just flick it down. I can flick it back up. I mean, on my Canon camera, for me that feels fast, and I feel like I can respond. On the Nikon, just kind of going back and forth, I don't feel like I can have that reaction. I feel like it's in a different place and it takes longer. And
yeah,
I don't know. That's me.
No, I agree. So once you get to know your camera, you're not having to pull it down every time you want to look at, where's the ISO button, where's the shutters button. You can look at the viewfinder and see as you're changing it, and you know where the dials are. You know, if I go left, it does one thing, right, it does another thing. You do all that. But what I'm talking about is when I'm shooting a swimmer. So a swimmer dives in from one end, and they're swimming on a 50-yard pool. They're swimming, pretty fast. The light is going to change by over the course from where they start to where they end is going to change by maybe 3 or 4 stops, that light. So depending on the gym, and you just can't be changing your ISO that fast or any setting. You got to let the camera do some of the work.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
So now if I was in a more controlled light, like if I shot basketball, and I was only really shooting at my half of the court, then I knew what the white balance was. Every time I came to that gym, white balance, here's the white balance. I set it up every time. I would set I shoot full manual with the shutter speed and the aperture and the ISO all locked down, because what would happen is, as I'm pointing the lens up to take a picture of a basketball player coming to do a dunk, I am capturing the lights in the ceiling. And if I don't have it set to manual, bam, is going to switch to those lights in the ceiling, and I'm going to get a silhouette of the player. So that's you got to, for whatever the situation is, you got to, have your settings set for the situation. One way is not going to work everywhere.
Yeah. There's no universal setting.
What? So now you asked out in chat, Seth, what about the autofocus issue? What is the autofocus issue?
Oh no, I was just kind of talking with Gina. She asked me what my dream camera was, and the one that I'm gonna get is the Mark III. But she has right now the 5D Mark II, which of course is a fantastic camera. They've shot some great movies on that camera, and House, and different stuff like that. But what I was saying was a lot of people that are Mark II users said that the autofocus at times can be flaky. And I kind of wondered about that. I never really dug too deep, because by the time I was really serious about started getting serious about getting one, the 3 was out.
Kathleen had that same problem with hers.
Yeah. From what I hear, it was pretty. So she just said mine's fine. So I wonder if it's certain scenarios or in combination with certain lenses. I don't know. I was just curious about that.
I think that some cameras have it generally is not like every camera within a batch is bad. Sort of like the Nikon D600, which has had some problems with dust and oil inside the body, affecting the sensor. Not every single camera is going to be like that. What you can end up having is, let's say you've got 5% or 2% or whatever, you're going to hear a ton of people complaining about that, because maybe 2% is 1,000 cameras or whatever it is. So that could be the same case with the 5D Mark II, is that maybe they had a failure rate or an issue rate of some small percentage, but that small percentage of people talk a lot about it.
They talk a lot, exactly. Yeah.
And it could be that percentage is outside the normal percentage of problems. So I'm just throwing wild numbers out there. Let's say the normal percentage is under 1%, and that camera has a 5% issue. That could be a problem, but it means 95% are okay.
Well, 500% of percentages are completely made up, including this one.
It is. That was completely made up. All right.
And plus the Mark II issues, from what I hear, weren't as bad as the new D800 issues. But I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah, so if you're having focus issues, we've had this come up several times in the Facebook group, and I think I put a link out there recently. If you're having focus issues, there's a way you can test it. You basically want to put it on a tripod, take a picture of something like a ruler, where you want to shoot at a really low depth of field, focus on that ruler, and you can go to the Facebook group and see that link.
Oh, that's good. A ruler.
You focus on a ruler at an angle, or a piece of paper at an angle that has all that print on there, and see, are you getting focus in a spot where you focus? Is it back focusing or front focusing? And you want to do it from a tripod. You don't want to be hand holding, because you want to eliminate the possibility that it's you that just doesn't know how to focus.
Danielle said graph paper.
Yeah. So
something with a lot of points on it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
cool.
and if it ends up being the camera, then maybe you send it in to Canon or Nikon or Sony to get them to adjust it. It happens. There are cameras with focus issues.
I had something else. I don't know if you did, but we can come back to me later.
Well, we're getting close to time, so why don't you go with yours, and we'll cut it off after that.
Oh, okay. Well, wow, it's an honor. I appreciate. Hey, Film's not dead. Shoot film if you can. I have the pleasure of. I told you I'm in school right now, and I had to take one more class. That's just an elective to accomplish what I was trying to accomplish. I was like, okay, so I'm taking 3 very heavy classes. What am I going to take as an elective? Something I want to pass. How about photography? So I took photography, and the teacher's like, Sess, what are you doing here? Because they knew me. I've been there. And I said I needed an elective, and plus I'm interested in shooting film now. You guys have a free darkroom. So I'm shooting some film right now, and I am loving it to an extent. I mean, it's definitely less forgiving. I already knew that going in. But film is cool, man. If you can shoot film, then shoot film. Would either Mike will never go back to it. He said that. I'm
not going back to film.
It's super fun.
I'm looking in my closet next to me. I'm looking at my camera in there. I bought my digital SLR back in I think it was May of 2005. I have not shot one film frame since that point. Matter of fact, there's probably film stuck in that camera still.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm not going back to film. I saw a guy, Jared Pollan, who was a guest on the show a while back, just interviewed a guy who made his own plate camera, where he shot. He's shooting stuff on plates. And you look at the I like chimping too much, Gina.
Gina's film is scary.
you look at the images on the plates, and it's like, that is horrible. That's why they stopped using that back in the 1800s.
Right?
Why are you wanting to do that? So, no, I am sticking with digital. But there's
a different kind of quality there, though.
There's something to say for film, and I'm not going to speak bad about anybody who wants to do it, because there's something there. It seems more pure. It's just not for me.
I am starting to. Okay, so another part of the reason that I'm taking this is because I want to have nostalgic artistry. I say that's Ray said it's nostalgic artistry. I wanted to have a more practical appreciation for it, and not simply a theoretical appreciation for it. Basically saying I understand my camera. I understand the how things took a while when you did film and you had to be in the dark room, but that was all in the head, right? Now that I'm digging in it and getting my hands smelling like burnt eggs and all this stuff, cooking, really dodging and burning, not just using a pointer. It's there's something craftsy about it. There's something craft kind of takes it down when you say that, but there's something about the craft of making a print and processing film, and it's pretty cool. So yeah,
I can see that. And if you start, I would love to see the photos when you post them into the group. I'd love for you to post some of them in there.
Yeah,
do that.
I've got a couple. They're in the trunk of the car, and I don't know how much time you have left here. And
well, we can shoot that for another time. So let's go to the last part where we're going to do either picks, either a tip or a product. And I'll go first.
Go ahead.
So I got, I mentioned this before, I got a Black Rapid. Have anybody ever used a Black Rapid? Tim, have you ever used one?
No, right. I have a Spider.
Okay, so it basically just fits, this one just fits like this. See that out in chat? Just fits like that, and then the camera hooks onto the little tripod mount, and it's got a locking mechanism, so it's not going to fall off. It screws into the bottom of the tripod mount, or if it's a big lens, it would screw into the bottom of the lens mount, and then it's just real easy to pull up and down. I've got the website pulled up here so you can see it. I got the model called Sport, which is this one right here. It's got the thing that goes underneath the arm. I think if I was going to get it again, I would get just the one they call Classic, the RS4, which is very similar to the Sport. It just doesn't have the underarm thing. I'm getting used to the underarm thing, but I think I would do without it.
Or if you're running or something, or if you're really very active underarm?
No, I don't think it's for if you're running, the Sport one. I think it's more for, it won't move around as much because that thing going underneath your arm locks it in. And, maybe the more I use it, I may think, okay, yeah, I can live with it. It's good enough. I'm not going to end up buying the Sport. But, there's also double. If you're somebody who, there's been times when I've shot with two cameras. I wanted a longer lens and a wider lens. They have the doubles, where you can have one lens on each side, and it really feels good. Tim, you're talking about that 7200 that I manhandle,
right?
I will put it on there and just have it on my side like that, and just flip it back up because I don't need a monopod. Flip it back up and just shoot like that, and I could do that for hours, Tim, not needing a monopod.
I actually like that. That's actually easier to use than what I use. I have I think it's called a Black Widow or something, and literally I have to take it off my belt strap and then hook it back in. But this way, it's always actually mounted to you, so it's a lot easier to use in my mind.
Oh yeah, this just slides down to your side, and it's got locks on it, so you can tell it how far down you want to slide. See, this part right here is a lock where you can tell it how far you want the movement to be.
Right, like if you had a backpack on, right?
Yeah, so then you just pick it up and do that. Can we have a link, please? Gina wants a link.
Show notes.
There's a link in there because I was actually looking at the RS4.
Right on.
Yeah, so one of the things there's a number of products there, and they have some great little videos too. So if you go and look at it, my little demonstration's not been that good of what I just did, but if you go and look at it, they have some videos of a guy and a lady and a guy putting them on, different ones on, and showing you how to work them. Some of them also come with little pockets up here. I actually bought an add-on pocket. So like you can put your cell phone, you can put your memory cards, you can put some other stuff right there. I'm probably not going to use it that much. Some of them have just a little bit of storage. Other ones, I think the cargo one has a lot of storage there where you can put, you can't put a laptop up there, but you can put like a...
Put your iPad up there so you can whip it off and take a picture.
Put your iPad up there. No,
Wow.
you can put like your cell phone up there.
Oh man, there you go.
So you're saying the RS4 is the one you would get next time, if you had to.
Somebody said I got to get out of the chair and walk around. Nope, not going to happen. I am wearing pants, but I'm wearing sweats, and I'm not going to let you see that.
That's the same as I am.
So I only dress up from the top down. I'm dressed completely, but only dressed up from up here. It's ratty shorts, ratty sweats below that. More information you wanted to know, but there you go. Yeah, I would get the classic RS4 for me. That's what I would get. But I would, if you're looking at them, go through and look at I think they have videos on each one of these. Go through and look at the videos on each one and see, which one do you think might be for you. They're not that expensive. Let's see the Sport. Let me look up the Sport. It was $70. So it's not cheap, but it's not bad. I did it when I first did it. I left my camera strap on the thing. That you don't want to do that. Don't leave the camera strap on the camera.
No. I don't even have my camera strap ever on my camera
then
anymore.
Your camera strap was hanging around down your feet where you could trip over it. So I took the camera strap off and just
$53 on eBay, no shipping.
There you go.
Wow.
So take a look at the video. That is my. Oh, I do have. So that's one thing. The other one is GPS logger. So this is only for Android. I think there's something similar. There may be the exact same program for iPhone. It is a GPS logger for your phone. And I think we talked about this out in the Facebook group at one point. But what you do, and I'll put the link out here in chat too. What you do is you turn that on. You make sure your phone and your camera have the same time. And then you just turn this on, and it creates a file. And I have mine go in the Dropbox. So it's just creating this file of GPS tags. So when I get back home, I take that, I take my photos and bring them into Lightroom, and then I can tag with the data that came from the phone. I can tag all my images in Lightroom with GPS data.
And see, that is pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is pretty cool.
I used to have a separate dongle for my my old camera. Then I wound up going to the phone as you use, but now thankfully my new camera has the GPS built into it, which is the best.
I think I may do like a little video, a little how-to video, because the hard part of what I just said was, and it's not that hard, but the confusing part may be
syncing them up.
The syncing them up afterwards, and when you get them into the Lightroom.
The key is make sure the time on your camera is correct.
Yes. So Danielle out there says, I don't understand any of that. So let's say I'm out there taking, photos of landscape photos all over the place. And I used to make sure I was taking a photo with my camera to get the GPS tag. And then in Lightroom, I'd manually put in the GPS tags, but I kept forgetting to do that. So what I can do is have an app on the phone that is just constantly, I think it's once a minute is what I have it set up for. Once a minute, writing the GPS data to a file that is being sent to Dropbox. If you don't know what Dropbox is, that's for another discussion, but it's online storage. Then I can take that, it's just a text file of all this GPS data, the time and the GPS data, longitude and latitude, bring it into Lightroom and sync it with my photos. And I will, Danielle, I'm not going to be able to go through everything on how to do that right now, but I will have to at some point do a little instructional video to show how that last part works. There, that's my two. I'm done.
Very cool.
I'm just going to keep.
Well,
wearing
I
this.
didn't know you can merge them in Lightroom. That's new to me. That I didn't
Lightroom
know
4,
you could do. There was
has,
an external program I had to use.
Yeah, I'm just keep.
It's got the GPS in it now, right?
Yeah, I'm going to keep wearing this while you guys talk.
You're getting armpit sweat on it right now.
I'm getting armpit sweat. I'm wearing a shirt with a.
Okay.
Don't get defensive.
We know about the jug heat that happens, and
I'm pretty sure I'll be owning the RS4 very soon.
From the light, you know. Anyways, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Seth,
Me?
yeah,
Me?
yeah.
Sure. You know, I was kind of juggling between a couple. One, I don't actually. Well, I'll just say the one. Okay, it's my YN 560. It's a fantastic speed light. Yeah, well, I was gonna run to the car, but it's because it's actually in there. It's still in there from a shoot. And I hate that. But anyways, it's this. It's a YN 560, and I actually have a photo pulled up. It's a fantastic flash for like less than $100. Let me see if I can screen share this. There it is. There it is. So I don't know if you could put that up, but it's you know, it looks like the Canon's 580, except it's a bajillion times cheaper, and it's so great. The only thing that it doesn't do that I actually use, a lot of folks probably don't, is the second, you know, the rear shutter sync, the second shutter sync.
Oh yeah, can you put a link out in chat to that?
Though. Yeah. I'll put a link out to the Amazon on that, and it's. Let me see if I can find it, and it's a fantastic flash. I love it. I use it all the time. Whoops. Yeah, there it is.
It's out there already.
Oh, okay, great. Wow, you're super fast. The 2, you got to make sure you get the version 2, not the there's one that's the predecessor has little LED dots on it and looks like something real cheap. But no, I mean, I've dropped this thing a couple times. I use it at range. It's got your slave modes and all kinds of good stuff. I think it's like $80. How much is?
Yeah, 75 on Amazon now.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great price. Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering I think my flash is like $450.
Exactly. Nikon is too.
Yeah. The one that I have. So the SB900 is 400ish.
Oh yeah, that thing's crazy expensive.
Yeah, because the 580 is close to $500, and the one that I have, which does have my rear shutter sync, my workhorse flash. This guy, which I've dropped more than the cheap one, which is horrible.
Are you showing us something? Because you're still screen sharing.
Oh, am I? Dang it! LOL at me. I fail again.
So,
okay.
Tim, you did one thing wrong when you put the link out there. It should be Amazon.jpeg2RAW.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize for that.
That's okay. So, what is that one, Seth?
This is my workhorse flash. This is my my
Nissan.
Nissan, or however you say it. I don't know. It's a third party and it works like a charm. I mean, I've never had any kind of problem with this. I love the LCD on it. You probably can't really see it. You can see it bright, but you can't really see what's on there.
Yeah, I can't see what's on there.
Yeah, and it actually rotates when you rotate the camera too. It's got a sub flash right here, which will give you that little specular highlight when you're shooting portraits. Yeah, give a little pop if you're maybe bouncing off the ceiling. So I love this, but this is like $400.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know, it's like $350-ish. I don't know.
So will either one of those do TTL?
Yeah. Well, okay. The more expensive one does TTL. The YN 560 does not do TTL.
Yeah, and you don't have to have TTL, because a lot of what I do with the flash, I don't use the TTL.
And you know, the more you play with it, the more you get used to it. Just shoot manual. I like manual.
Yeah. I have 2 SB800s, and
you have money, or at least you did before you bought those.
Yes, I have 2 SB800s, and one of them is broken. And since my wife was not listening, I'm going to blame it on her. I had them set up remote, and one of them was sitting on top of the refrigerator, coming down, shooting at something. And I guess I had it partially on the door, but when the door was closed, it wasn't an issue. She opened the door, and the flash came falling off the refrigerator and hit the ground, and has not worked since. So I'm blaming it on her. She sees it as my fault for putting it there in the first place.
See, and I dropped.
But since she's not here, I'm right.
There you go.
You got the Adam Sandler effect. You got the Adam Sandler effect. I have the microphone, so you listen to everything I have to say.
I can talk big as long as she doesn't hear me.
So yeah, I've dropped this guy. Actually, last weekend it was freezing over here, but we were doing an outdoor thing. I don't know, my hands locked up. I didn't have it locked on tight enough, and when I tilted my stand, yeah, it slid out of the stand and bounce checked off of the concrete. And so I have this. I got a nice little chip. You can probably just bear. No, you can't see it.
I can't see it.
But I got a nice little chip in here, and one of these little discs actually popped off. But it's just adhesive under there, so I just snuck it back on.
And Katya's saying, "What are you doing putting it on the fridge?" I needed it up high. I was having the flash come down. I wanted it up high. I was trying something different.
But you know, a $25 9-foot stand is cheaper than a $500 flash.
Yeah, that's true, but I didn't have it at the time.
Yes, sir.
All right, no, that's good. Good. It's always good to get some different flashes. They don't all have to be Canon and Nikon. All right, Tim, what do you got?
I got nothing at this point. I'm done for the night.
Okay.
Okay. He's like, okay, I'm spent.
I'm getting up early in the morning, so I'm already thinking about my alarm clock.
And we've gone over, but we were late getting started. I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. It took the longest it's ever taken us to get ready. So I apologize for that, and I'm not even going to tell you what the problem was.
Oh, you figured it out?
No, let's just say I hadn't.
All right.
So anyway, and Gina says it's 3:15. So thank you, Gina, for staying up that late.
You know, I mentioned at the top of the show that our guest tonight was going to be the boudoir show. We did have to postpone that. Our guest is, and Seth is doing a little. I got focus on you, so everybody's seeing you, Seth.
I'm taking. There we go.
Okay, that may be good for some of our people out in chat. It's not going to be good for me.
Okay. Well, that's good. I don't know.
It's anyway, you know, we will reschedule her for some time in the future. Next week, that's what I was looking for. Next week, who we have coming up next week. But while I'm waiting for that to pull up, I want to mention, you know, we mentioned a little bit about it tonight. You know, if you go out, if you're going to buy from Amazon, Adorama, or Newegg, Newegg is a great place to buy computer products. If you're going to buy from one of those three places, it's really easy. Just type in amazon.jpeg2RAW.com. It'll take you to the regular Amazon account page, but it will have our affiliate link attached to it. So when you buy anything from there, the show will get a little bit of credit. As we build up credit, you know, we give all that away through giveaways, because we know, like we're talking with the lenses and the flashes and all that kind of stuff, everything with photography is crazy expensive. So we're doing what we can to help out. Who do we have? Actually, we do not have a guest lineup for next week yet. We have coming up in March, though, we have landscape photographer Michael Bolinio. We have Scott Wyden coming back to talk about SEO for photographers. So if you got a web page, you've probably heard the topic SEO, search engine optimization. And that's probably been very confusing for you. And how do you do that? I know Kathleen, when she was on, and Scott Green a while back, were confused on what that is. Well, Scott Wyden is a pro at SEO. He writes about SEO all the time. So we're going to have him come on, and he's a photographer. So he's going to come on and talk to us about SEO for photographers. And then at the end of the month, we have somebody that I've been working on for 6 freaking months to come on. As long as they don't cancel on me. We have Topaz Labs coming on at the end of the show. And I got to imagine there's going to be a giveaway coming that night. So be watching out for that. If you don't subscribe to the show, you know, you can get it through iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, Zune, and now BlackBerry. You know, we're moving up fast. We're in BlackBerry now. And on all those places, on YouTube is obviously just video, Stitcher is radio, but iTunes, there's actually 3 feeds. There's 2 video feeds, a video large, video small, and there is an audio feed there too. If you're in Stitcher, and our Stitcher audience continues to grow, I'm just amazed at how our Stitcher audience is growing, and that's where we found Sess, and we found some of our other members of the Facebook group. You know, we welcome you to come into our Facebook group, and not just on Stitcher, if you're on any of the other places too, come out to our Facebook group. We have a lot of great members. It is Facebook.com/groups/jpeg2RAW. Come out and join the Facebook group. Join in the monthly contest, or you don't have to submit a photo right away. You can vote on the photos too, and just interact. There's a lot of great, friendly people out there. And that's all I have, guys. Anything else?
Nothing else.
Thumbs up. Give a thumbs up on Stitcher. Put a comment in there, especially on iTunes. That
Can
helps.
you thumbs up? That's a good point. Can you thumbs up
Yeah.
on Stitcher?
Yeah, you can thumbs up on Stitcher. You can add it to your favorites like I did. You can tweet, you can Facebook instantly without actually leaving the feed. You can do it straight from the app while you're listening. So yeah. Put that out there, folks.
Yeah, so that's the thing. If you're subscribed through iTunes, please think about leaving a comment on iTunes, a review. I think it's called a review. I do if you go to the jpeg2RAW homepage, there's actually a I don't even have it pulled up anymore. Yeah, there's a link at the very top of the page that says iTunes review. If you click on that, it'll walk you through how to do an iTunes review. That helps people find us. So you can do a thumbs up on YouTube, a thumbs up on Stitcher, and leave a review on iTunes, only if it's a good review.
Yes.
A review on iTunes to help out the show. That will really help us build an audience and get more people out there. All right, thank you everybody out in chat for coming and hanging out with us and waiting forever. There was a time there where we thought the show was not going to happen tonight, but I'm glad we got it off. Seth, thank you for coming on tonight. How can people find you, Seth?
Oh, you can go. I'm all over Facebook, Seth White. But yeah, I do have a website. It's design.me. My business is called Intelligent Design, spelled DEXINE. And now you can actually go to just sethwhite.com, and that's the shortcut to my About Me page. Because sometimes people don't want to put an X in their design. So hey, there you go. Seth is everywhere, Danielle said. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on 500px, I'm on Flickr. Whatever.
SethWhite.com. Is that what you said?
Yeah, you can actually just go to sethwhite.com. Okay. That'll take you to my About Me page.
If you're listening to this, that's ceswhite.com. Yeah. Very
Correct.
good. Yes, very good. Thank you, Seth. Tim, I ask you this every week, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Yeah, you just find me on the Facebook page or in jpeg2RAW.
Okay, and that's where you can find me too. If you have a comment or question or guest suggestions for the show, you can email the show at podcast@jpeg2RAW.com. If you've missed, any of the links we talked about, or have questions for anybody that you want to get in touch with, past guests or anything like that, just send an email to podcast@jpeg2RAW.com and we'll get that answered. And then we'll see you guys next week. Thank you, everybody out in chat.